Hello everyone. Today I'm going to continue this pedestrian system we have been working on last week. So today I'm going to improve the system. It will spawn pedestrians dynamically. So in the last time I had placed them manually on the map throughout the map. So in this time I'm going to create a new blueprint that spawns the pedestrians around the player like that. And so to make sure that the NPC characters are always seen by the player and they are not when they have left the region of the player, I'm gonna relocate them to certain places in the map so that they can return to some location that can be seen by the player. So yeah, that is the part I'm going to do today so that we can make sure that NPCs are seen by the player always, so that we can make the illusion of a crowded city without sacrificing the computational resources of the performance of the system of the game. Right, so all right, let's see how to do that. And this episode is sponsored by this generous patron, Chris Dodds. Thank you very much for your support. Right, so in this system we have developed so far, you can see these pedestrians. Actually they are not dynamically spawned. I just manually placed them in the scene, but that's not the way I want it to be. They should be dynamically spawned and populated throughout the world based on the player's location. So that means if the player is in this side of the map, we always need to make sure that these NPC characters spawned are within that area, in the range of the player, so that we can make it look like this city is full of people without sacrificing much resources, because it's not useful to simulating NPC characters which is not seen by the player. That's not effective, right? So therefore I'm gonna implement a blueprint which is responsible for spawning NPC characters. So yeah, should be the type of factor BP. Now let's call it NPC spawner. Okay, so let's open this. Now here I'm gonna add a variable. Let's call it NPC count. It should be in the type of integer. So this is the number of NPC characters that I need to maintain within the range of this spawner. So I'll make it the default value I'll set to 10, and I'll make it publicly visible so that I can edit it after placing in the world. Now I am going to increase the tick interval to, let's say, 2 seconds, because in the tick I am going to check the player's location, and then I'm going to check if there is enough actors, enough NPC characters within that player's radius. Otherwise I'm gonna spawn or relocate the characters that are not in the player's range into the player's range. So I'm planning to do those location calculations and comparisons etc. in the tick, but it's not useful or effective to do it in the every single frame. So therefore I'm gonna increase this tick to like 2 seconds, so that way we can save performance of the machine, right? And also I'll disable the tick, and after, first let's give a delay of like 1 second, and then enable tick because I don't want to do those calculations right after we start the game. So yeah, maybe we can, it wouldn't matter much, we can make this a random floating range, so we can do it like 0.5 seconds to 2 seconds, because so we can avoid all uh, all the ticks of these spawners. If there are a large number of spawners, then everyone will not be ticked in the same intervals in the same frame. So that's the kind of reason. I don't know exactly how those things are handled in the engine, but just to be safe, let's do it like this. Okay, now let's get player character, get at the location, distance, and get the distance from player to this particular spawner. So get actor location, right? Okay, now if distance is less than how much, let's say 2000 units or maybe 3000 units, I don't know. We can promote this to a variable. Let's call it spawner range. Let's rename this to required npc count, and let's add another variable, spawn npc count, right? So here in this branch, if the player character is within this range, then we need to spawn up to this particular number of npc characters. So first I'm gonna delete all these pedestrian characters in the world. Every one of them. Right. Then let's do a branch. No. Let's create a custom event. Spawn pedestrians. Let's call it a spawn npc. That's more generic. So if this is the case, I'm gonna call spawn npcs event. Now here I'll add do once node and then let's do a branch and get these two. If required NPC count is larger than spawned NPC count, let's do a comparison like this. If this is true, we need to spawn again, otherwise we can just reset this here. So if this is true, that means we need to spawn the NPCs. So spawn actor from class, and as the class I'm gonna select pedestrians. As the spawn transform, let me split this, and rotation is fine. For the location, let's say get actor location and get random reachable point in radius. I'm gonna get a random point around the spawner within 500, and I'm gonna give that as the character spawn location. Then if we get a valid output here, I'll use this option, try to adjust location but always spawn. Right, then if this is valid, I'll increment this required spawned NPC count and give a small delay, and loop this like this. So if still we need more NPCs according to this condition, the event will keep spawning until it reaches the required NPC count. So this one is 10, right? Now let's test and see if this works. First I'll place the spawner in a place like this so that player won't see if the player is coming from this way. Okay, it has spawned NPC characters, but they are not moving. Alright, here spawn default controller. Right, now we have pedestrians here. Okay, but still they will, once they walk out of this range, they will be alright. Most of them are taking the same path. So yeah, as a solution to that, here for the yaw, let's do a random float. In range minimum 0, maximum 360. So we can change their rotation. So they should be facing different directions. Right, now they are going in both directions. Better. But still we need to, yeah, once they have walked out of this range, we still need a way to make them come this way. Okay, let's address that next. Right, so here I'll define another, this is actor array spawned actors. No, spawned NPCs. I'll make this in the, which type we need, pawn. Yeah, pawn. So pawn, let's make it an array. So I'm going to add this spawned character to this array. Like this. And also I'm gonna do another function. Let's add another function. Check NPC locations. So I'm going to use this function to determine if these spawned NPCs are away from the character's range. How should we do this? We can do a for each loop. And if, and then get actor location, and also get player character. Oh, we did the same thing here. Somewhere here, right here. So why shouldn't we promote this to a macro? Get distance to player. Yeah. So we can directly put this reference, and if the distance is larger than, let's say I'll promote this one also to a variable. Let's call it NPC range. I'll define 6,000 for this. No, 8,000, I don't know. Let's see if this is true. Is it okay to remove an item while we use this array in for each loop? Could that cause any problems? Well, I'm not sure, but before removing that, this element, I need to store this element, this character reference, somewhere as an available NPC character who's ready to be relocated, who's available to be relocated into some other place based on the player's location. So where should we save the reference? That place that we save that reference should be accessible from all the NPC spawners that I place in the world. So we can get the game state from any class, any blueprint, like this. Get game state. Right, so let's define, let's stop this function for now here, and let's define a custom game state like this. Let's game state city. Here I'll add a variable called available NPCs. This should be also in the type of pawn. And a array. Now to access this one, I'll define an interface BPI NPC management. Add available NPC. Right, so this should have a pawn reference. Let's call it NPC, and another function get available NPC. It should return a pawn NPC. Now I'll implement that interface here. If this has valid NPC characters, we can check it like that. This, if the length is larger than 0, then we can get a copy. Okay, let's get the 0th element and let's see if this works, and then remove index in the 0th location. If this is false, just return nothing. And for the add available NPC, I'm gonna get this and add to this available NPCs array. Let's We have this add unique also. Let's use this one, but I don't think it would matter in this particular case. Alright, now here I'm going to use that city game state as the game state of this game. Now here, before removing this, I'm gonna get game state and add available NPC. So we can add this NPC to the array of available NPCs and then remove it from this spawned NPC array. Also we need to decrement the spawned NPC count as well. Right, now that should happen in the tick check NPC locations. Right, now when we spawn this, first before spawning a new NPC character, we should check if there are available NPCs. So get and game state get available NPC. If we get a valid NPC here, then we don't have to spawn one. So to store this one, we need a temporary variable temp NPC. If this is valid, I'm gonna set it as the temp NPC. If it is not valid, I'm gonna spawn a new one, then spawn controller, then set temp, set it as temporary NPC. Then here I'm going to use this temp NPC variable to add to this array, so we don't have any issue regarding where it is, whether it is spawned here or taken from the available NPC pool. Right, let's see what happens. Why can't I control? What is it? Because of this one. Let's try the previous one. Okay, looks like that the issue. So alright, I think I have this is from parent class is game state. So instead of game state, what if we use game state base, this one. I hope it wouldn't make any problems. Right, now let's try. Alright, it works now. Okay, NPCs are spawned there. How to test it? Okay, let's add a print here. Spawned npc spawned. Let's leave 10 seconds, and here let me duplicate this. npc relocated. I'll make it pink, no, green. And I also have some other print string node somewhere in the project. Let me disable it. Here. Let's skip that. Alright, now let's test. npc spawned. So yeah, I think this range is too small distance here, so let's make it 12,000, so I wouldn't see them being spawned. Okay, still too small the distance, but yeah, we will work on it. Right, now they are spawned, but unfortunately we need to place these spawners in several places. So I'll place another maybe around here. Can we walk in here? Yeah, we can. So let's place another one here. We can't walk there. Yeah, we can walk here. So let's place another one here. Where else we should place them? We do have a path here, okay. Let's extend this path this way also, so that we can place another enemy spawner somewhere over there. Yeah, somewhere here. Also this way. I'm walking there just to make sure that I don't have any invisible barriers. Right, is that enough? Let's place another one here. We don't have any suitable place in this area, but I think that would be okay. Oh, Here we don't have a path. Right, let's extend the path. To go that way. Right, now it's time to test. Okay, now enemies are being, not enemies, NPCs are being spawned here. Cool, we can see them now. So let's quickly run into, oh, we don't have enabled collisions there, that's why they are walking through them. Not a big issue, we can just enable them. So we placed some, okay, they also been spawned there. Right. Now when we go here, instead of spawning, they should be just relocated. Oh, they are also spawned. Okay. Also spawned. Why can't they relocate them? Let's go back to the initial place to see if they are being respawned again. Oh yeah, now you can see relocated. Cool. And some of them are relocated, some of them are respawned. Right. Oh wait, they are infinitely being spawned here. Why is that? Definitely we have an issue here. Let's see. Required NPC count is 10. Ah, sorry. Here I haven't connected this one to remove. So yeah, that should be the issue. That's what it costs to infinitely spawn the NPC characters, because this number keep getting decremented without actually removing elements here. So yeah, so here I'll increase this range to again 10,000. Spawner range, so we can minimize seeing the characters are being spawned. And also we can do something like like to recast or to determine whether character is the player is actually seeing that location, so that we can spawn them in a different location. We can do something like that, but those are details. Let's first focus on the function. Or we can cleverly place these spawners in a place that player can't really see. Right, spawned here. Cool. And also spawned here as well. Right, now I'll quickly run to over there. Yeah, they are also being spawned now, like that. And one of them is relocated because they are out of the range. Okay. Let's go to this place now. Okay, relocated most of them. Wait, where did I place that note? I think I placed one here. Right, let's see. Okay, here we have a collider. Yeah, that's why they are stuck. Why aren't they moving? I'll remove this one here. For the spawning logic, yeah, I think if I try to adjust location, don't spawn if it's still colliding. Let's try that. And then before spawning the default controller, I'm not sure, maybe let's do that after the delay. Oh, and we shouldn't do that if we have already spawned the controller. So how do we know that? Well, anyway, I don't think it would do any harm if I call this twice. Alright, let's test it again. Okay, over there we can see some spawned NPCs, and over there too. Now we can see some NPCs are coming. Right. if you pay attention to the top left corner, some of them are being relocated to make them spawn closer to the player character. Right. Okay, so let's toggle debug camera and see from a distance what happens, what's going on. But if I detach the camera, I don't know if the player location is taken correctly. Oh, here we still have these not moving enemies after spawning. Why does that happen? Actually, I'm debugging their code. It looks like they are not really AI problem. It's just because that they can't reach their given destination. Right. So let's see what's going on here. I think what happens is they just can't find a place for them to on this path. I don't know. Let's see. Let's enable this for one frame. And let's stay here until some of them fail to recognize a path. Wait, we need to give more time. One frame is not enough. Let's enable it for duration. And I'm gonna wait here a while until those players are away from the range, and again the new characters are spawned or relocated here, so that I can study what happens, why they don't move. And I've been running around for a while, but I don't see any of them who don't move. Let's see. Yeah, I think it is fixed now. Alright, so we can stop this episode here. What else we need to cover? Yeah, so we need to make sure that enemies are not being spawned while the character is looking at it. So yeah, actually we can do that. Like for example, if I place one spawner here and one spawner here, so there is no way that player can look at no, it can happen. So we need to place two spawners in a way closer to each other, but it's not possible for player to look at both of them at same time. So if we place it that way, then if we can simply do a check whether the player is seeing the location by doing maybe a line trace, so or recently rendered node, but we have to add some static mesh component here for that. And then yeah, then we can wait until the player look away to spawn or relocate the character, but I'm not going to do that here, maybe in another episode. So yeah, let's stop here for today. So yeah, the project files will be available for download through Patreon page, and if you like to support my work, you can get the membership of the Patreon club. The link would be in the description below, and thanks for watching. See you in another episode. Goodbye. And also let me know if you have any more suggestions or more requirements for this pedestrian system that we have worked on so far.